That's right. Welcome in. It is another edition of the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast here on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, Instagram account, and X account. I had to remember what the last one was. The Idaho 8-Man Prepcast, where we talk 8-man football every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Pacific Time, live here on IdahoSports.com. The Idaho 8-Man Prepcast is brought to you by Ideal, Idaho's college savings program. We'll talk more about them a little bit later on in the show, but let's bring on our panel of experts tonight. Joining us from the Coeur Panthers Den, right in the heart of the Sawtooth Wilderness, it is Coach Lane Kirkland. What's up, Coach?
Hey, it's been a great day of junior high football for the Panthers. Taking down the Tigers 42-8. That takes us to 5-0 on the season. 2 more games to go, hoping for 100% this year. It's a nice sunny afternoon in Coeur for sure. Thought the rain was going to get us, but it broke, and we got a sunburn instead.
We've talked about this before, but Tigers is a pretty common team name. Is that the Richfield Tigers?
Richfield Tigers today. Yep.
Okay.
Coached by one of my old players, Brigham Park.
Oh, wow. Going against one of your pupils.
Yeah, he was calling the same stuff we were, so we had it figured out.
They say flattery is the sincerest form, or imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Also joining us tonight from a bitter dungeon of hatred for both the Red Sox and the Yankees, actually from the Treasure Valley, it's Will Henneke. What's going on, Will?
My bitter dungeon is really only for the Yankees. I'm kind of indifferent towards the Red Sox.
I've never asked. What is your favorite baseball team, Will?
Oh, I'm a Mariners guy.
Okay.
So seeing as how we're pretty much the only organization in the history of organized baseball to never play in a World Series, I should probably hate just about everyone, but I don't.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can turn that hate into some love for our Idaho 8-man teams, starting with our game of the week. We always start the Idaho 8-man Prepcast with what was kind of the most exciting game start to finish from the past week of action. Guys, I got to be honest, there were not a lot of close, compelling games last week. In fact, our game of the week was a game that was actually decided by 2 scores, but it was the closest game and wasn't really decided until the fourth quarter. So we are going to start in the 1A ranks over in the Rocky Mountain Conference, where Challis and Mackey did a little tango at the Mackey Miners home field. This was a really fun game. Opening drive of the game for Challis. They fumble it, and freshman Otto Johnson picks it up and returns it 50 yards for a touchdown. So 6-0, Mackey jumps out in front, and that was the score after 1 because Challis's first 3 possessions, 2 fumbles and a turnover on downs. Not ideal start for the Vikings. But in the second quarter, Challis kind of calms down a little bit, finds their footing. 16 unanswered points. Owen Thane, a 2-yard touchdown to Garrison Applegate, and then he hits T. Garrison for the 2-point conversion. 8-6 lead for Challis. Mackey fumbles on their next possession, and then they march down the field. Challis does, and Thane hits Erickson for a 5-yard score. Now, this was a crazy play. There was a penalty on the 2-point conversion try. It moved it all the way back to the 25-yard line. T. Garrison goes over to the sideline, has a quick chat with one of the Challis coaches, comes back in, kind of gives a wink and a nod, and Thane just throws it up to Erickson from 25 yards out for the 2-point conversion on a fade route. And so that's scored halftime 16-6. Challis gets the ball to start the second half. 4th and 7 from their own 38-yard line. Just looking to pick up the 7 yards on the first down. No, how about 62 yards and a touchdown on a crosser to T. Garrison again? Thane runs in the 2-point conversion. It's a 24-6 lead with 10:46 to play in the third. And you might be thinking, all right, game's over. Challis has got this one in hand, but Mackey battles back. Graydon Bruley scores on a 10-yard run. And then Peyton Tykert throws a 33-yard touchdown to Riker Summers. They did not get either conversion, though. And so at the end of 3, Mackey at least has cut it to 6, 24-18. Challis feeling the heat a little bit now. Start of the fourth quarter. They give it to Erickson on a fly sweep. He scores from 68 yards out. Another big play touchdown for Teague Erickson. And again, 2-point conversion successful. Challis has a 30-18 lead, and that would end up being the final score. Mackey had 2 opportunities to try and tie the game, but their possessions ended in an interception and a turnover on downs. And so, Will, really fun game. Mackey started with the fireworks. Challis kind of answered. Mackey counterpunched again, and Mackey just dug themselves too big of a hole here. But it was a really fun game between 2 pretty competitive teams over in the East.
Yeah, score aside, it was a really important game. The winner of this game puts themselves in the driver's seat for a likely 1A playoff berth. There's still space to go here. There's still weeks to play, but you're looking at Rockland being up there, in top 5 in the state, and you've got 3, maybe 4 teams that are jockeying for playoff position in Chalice, in Mackey, in North Gem. Water Springs, can they get in there and pull something off? So a win in this game was really critical because it's kind of a 2-game swing. It gives you that tie-breaking advantage, and Chalice able to bounce back after a sluggish start. Teague Erickson, he's putting together an all-conference for sure and maybe an all-state type of season. They got a freshman quarterback. They got a freshman running back. It's a good-looking group they got brewing there in Chalice, and they had to bring it. Mackey's a good team, and you go on the road and you get in a hole a little bit early. You're creating some turnovers. You're shooting yourself in the foot, and you find a way to get it done and get the win. That's a big win for Chalice.
And Coach, kind of a tip of the hat because Chalice has a lot of seniors. Mackey, it's a lot of young bucks that are playing. How about the defensive totals? 4 sacks and 3 fumble recoveries. And all of the players involved in those takeaways or defensive plays are underclassmen. Freshman Hudson Belden had 2 sacks. Freshman Graydon Bruley had a sack. Sophomore Dylan Merrill had a sack. And then Belden had a fumble recovery. Junior Dax Tykert had a fumble recovery. And then Otto Johnson, the freshman, had the fumble recovery and the scoop and score from 50 yards out. So Mackey is a young team. A lot of freshmen and sophomores playing here, taking their lumps. That's going to pay off down the line.
Yeah, you never underestimate the value of the energy of a freshman or sophomore. Sometimes the energy level of those guys and their cat-like reflexes just going hard because they don't know any better. They're just following coach and following the lead of some of the older kids on the team. And then to be a part of sacks and fumble recoveries is what it's all about. That's going to take them a long way and bringing them a lot more confidence as they go through the rest of their career. But it's always awesome to get a Twinkie when all you're looking for is a Scooby snack. And so, hey, that's a great way for that ball club to battle together for the Custer County Cup. How's that?
I think I found our podcast title, Twinkies and Scooby Snacks. That's
oh boy.
Never heard that one before. That's a good one. Okay, so let's take a look at the standings here in the 1A Rocky Mountain Conference. It's right at the top of the screen here. Rockland continues to lead the way at 2-0. They defeated Water Springs. We'll talk about that game in a second. Chalice is also 2-0. North Gem is 1-0. They had the week off. Mackey's 1-1. Water Springs 0-1. They fell to Rockland. And then Showband still at 0-4. So Rockland and Chalice appear to be on a collision course. They're going to play really soon. But for the moment, I would still give the nod to Rockland with the big caveat here, guys, because yes, Rockland defeated Water Springs 68-8. Xavier Parrish, 80 yards and 3 touchdowns passing, 9 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown on the ground, an interception on defense. Zach Perman rushes for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 13 carries. Ethan Perman rushed for a touchdown, had 4 catches for 54 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ty Woodworth scored a rushing touchdown and 8 tackles. A lot of good stuff here. But Rockland only had 9 players for this game. They've had 12 most of the season, only 9 so they are walking on a knife's edge here, Rockland. Yep. They are like on the brink.
Yeah, and I mean, you literally just read off almost their entire roster, and some of the kids that are out hurt right now. Isaac Held, fantastic player. Woodrow Loader, a fantastic player. These are key pieces, which when you only have 12 on your team to begin with, everybody's a key piece. Let's put that caveat out there. But this is a talented team, and yeah, you lose a couple of big pieces, but okay, now we need someone to step up. And I mentioned, Teague Erickson being an all-state caliber player at this point in the season. How about Zach Perman? I mean, this guy's about to go over 1,000 total yards already between receiving and rushing and scoring touchdowns. And, oh, by the way, he makes 700 tackles a game and usually has 7 or 8 interceptions and, sells hot dogs at halftime and all that jazz too. Just, Coach Hunter there in Rockland, he asked.
Uh-oh, we lost Will there.
Come back, Will.
Because of all the bad things he said about the Yankees.
Go Yankees. Yeah, somebody's got him right there.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's something hopefully Rockland can get, because we saw last week with Castleford, they had to forfeit their game against Shoshone. And so Yeah, 8-man, only 9 guys. That is because you tell me this, Coach, you can't in good conscience go into a game with just 8 guys, right? You need at least one person on the bench, right?
It helps. I've heard that it helps, especially just at least one. But this Rockland team has a lot of athletes. I don't think there's a slow guy on the Rockland roster. They really get the job done passing around. They're really been passing a lot more this year. But every one of those kids is an athlete. I don't know how many is on the cross country team. I would guess close to half. But these guys still are getting it done on the field and setting up for a big matchup this weekend against the Panthers here in Coeur.
Good thing they've got all those cross-country guys. The conditioning's probably off the charts. They're all having to pretty much play the entire game. No breaks for anybody with just 9 guys. So, we'll certainly keep an eye on Rockland as we go. Let's continue our 1A football discussion with the Long Pin Conference over in District 3. We had our first kind of big monumental matchup here, Tri-Valley and Garden Valley. Well, 64-20, the Titans flex their muscles in this one. Coach Jace Wagoner, 29 yards passing and a touchdown. But really, Tri-Valley is a team that wants to run the football, Coach. Look at these rushing totals. Jace Wagoner, the quarterback, 18 carries, 207 yards, 5 touchdowns. Gage George, 24 carries, 188 yards and a touchdown. Eli Noah, 15 carries, 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then defensively, 4 sacks, 1 each from Mishka Rapp, Eli Noah, Corbin Talbert, and Gavin Springer. And then 4 takeaways, 3 interceptions from Wagoner, Wyatt Mora, and Ridge Loveland. And then Noah had a fumble recovery as well. Let's see. Strong running attack, opportunistic defense. That kind of sounds like a team that plays in your neck of the woods.
Hey, that's a great team. That Tri-Valley club, those Titans are rocking right now. And I feel like they're getting better every single week. I did watch some film on them this week that we have here at Huddle for Coeur. And I'm telling you, they got 3 guys that can carry the ball and do just about anything with it. Big, small, quick, plowing people over, juking. That's a 3-headed monster. Not to mention DeVries catching passes out there when they actually throw the ball. That they got dudes up front. This is a team that's going to go way deep into November, maybe to Turkey Day. They're going to be fun to watch, and they're getting better every day.
Yeah, and on the other side of the coin, Will, it's great to have you back. Garden Valley, yes, Garden Valley, 4 different quarterbacks again, Payson Kelly, Tegan Goff, Maddox Miller, and this was the big headline to me, Maxon Yearsley back in the lineup. He had missed a couple of games with injury. He was back, played a little under center, 3 of 9, 97 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Also ran for 7 times for 59 yards, had an interception on defense. So that to me was the big story for Garden Valley. Yeah, they lost this game. Too many turnovers. 4 turnovers is just not going to work against Tri-Valley, but they've got kind of their heartbeat back in Maxon Yearsley, and I think that could really put wind in their sails moving forward.
Yeah, it certainly could. I saw that name on there, and I was excited for Coach Yearsley to get Maxon back on the field and to energize the team perhaps going forward. They got beat up in this game, but it's not over yet. They got counsel to tangle with, and they're still even that taking a look at making the bracket in Max Prep because they've played some pretty good ball this year.
Yes. Okay, well, I'll tee you up for the next game. Council and Cascade met in their Long Pin opener, 70-0 win for the Lumberjacks. I didn't have a ton of stats from this one, but you tell me, what was more impressive? Garrison Zelensky with not 1 but 2 pick sixes, or Bryson Evans with not 1 but 2 point after kicks?
I'd say toss a coin. If you're a special teams guy, it's going to be one. If you're a defensive guy, it's the other. But to me, the impressive thing is that they put up 70 points, and Owen Hatfield really didn't do much. Coach Tucker there in Council has been seemingly been pretty careful about not exposing his star quarterback to excessive hits and excessive punishments. Get maybe 4 or 5 carries and then get him out of harm's way. And yet the other players are still able to go out there and make things happen. They got a lot of talent there. That's a good football team.
Yeah. If we look at the Long Pin standings, Tri-Valley and Council both start 1-0 in league play. Salmon River and Horseshoe Bend still have to meet or play somebody. And then Garden Valley and Cascade each start 0-1. Salmon River was in action, though, with a non-conference game, Coach, against Notice. Charlie Shepard Jr., the Notice coach, going back to his alma mater, Salmon River, and the Savages say, hey, welcome back. This has happened a lot when you were here, and it's continuing. A nice win for Salmon River, 38-15 the final. Blake Shepard, 56 yards and a passing touchdown, 74 rushing yards and a touchdown, and 22 tackles on defense, Coach. Riley Davis may have had the more impressive line, though, 193 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns on 18 carries, and then he had only 18 tackles, but it came with 2 sacks and an interception. Shepard and Davis doing work for the Savages.
Getting in touch with Coach Medley this week about that game. There was a lot of hype coming into that, but he said our ball club kept their nerves about him, and we still had to show up and play because it was going to be competitive. And those 2 dudes definitely showed up. Most games have between 45 and 70 plays run of offense from each side, sometimes as low as 40. So, 40 tackles out of whatever, 70 plays, maybe 55 plays. Whew. Somebody's doing some work, man. And that's good stuff. Thinking back to Salmon River, the first time I remember seeing a 3-4 defense, a 3 front, was in 06 from those guys, and again in 07. But the 4 dudes, the 4 linebackers, were studs, and they put one little freshman, 100 yards back to fill anything tricky that came around. But I'm imagining that Riley and Blake were probably inside linebackers, is my guess, just doing damage. Coach Shepard was pretty excited about that win.
Yeah, and
Coach Medley was excited about that win.
Yeah, and Coach Medley graduated in 06. So he just missed out on that 06 matchup with you guys. He would have been a player in 05, but laying the groundwork for that dynastic Salmon River run there for sure. So, okay, that's the Long Pin Conference. Let's go north to the North Star League, District 1, which is going to undergo some changes next year. The IHSAA just this week had their annual meeting where they basically set the new enrollment numbers. Some schools move up because of enrollment. Some schools move down. Schools can petition to move up or down. We'll unpack all of that next week when we have more time to analyze how it's going to affect the 8-man landscape. But for now, a nice 4-team conference: Coeur Christ, Wallace, Clark Fork, and Lakeside. If we take a look at the standings, only one conference game so far. It was last Thursday. Coeur Christ defeats Lakeside, so they're 1-0. Wallace and Clark Fork hanging out at 0-0 in the conference. The Miners are 5-0 overall, though, and then Lakeside's 0-1 and 0-5. Coeur Christ 4-1 overall. Their only loss was to Logos a few weeks back. But this game will. Coeur Christ last Thursday, 54-32 win over Lakeside. Grant Clemens, 7 passing touchdowns and a pick 6 on defense for a grand total of 8. And oh, by the way, John Danke sets the tone as well on the opening kickoff. He takes it back 70 yards for a score.
Yeah, I talked to Nick Holloway, the Logos coach. They played Coeur Christ a couple of weeks ago, and just asking him for his thoughts. And he said Clemens can sling it. He can throw the ball a bit. He's an impressive player. And sure enough, he comes out the next week and throws 7 touchdowns, has a hand in 8. And I think the interception return for a touchdown is what I'm going to highlight for the moment, because I think in that conference, the team that can make some stops is going to be the team that advances. I think you got some teams that can score. Lakeside just put up 32. Clark Fork's had a couple of games where they've put up points, and then Wallace and Coeur Christ are putting up crazy numbers every week. So the team that's able to find a way to make enough stops, whether it's Wallace, whether it's Coeur Christ, whether it's one of these other teams, that's going to be the team that continues to play. Because frankly, they've all proven they have some offensive weapons. They've all proven that they can scheme up some plays to get some points on the board. Coeur Christ is a very, very good team. If they make enough stops, they got a chance to do some damage.
Agreed. Cody Albright in the chat wants to know, is Logos moving up? Part of the discussion we'll get into deeper next year. Yes, they are. They are still a 2A school in terms of enrollment, but they want to play 11-man football, and they are going to move up to the 3A ranks next year to play the likes of Orofino and St. Mary's and Grangeville and Priest River and Kellogg. So that'll be fun. The Logos JV actually played against Orofino and played an 11-man game and won over Orofino. So they're kind of already
varsity, not Orofino's JV. It was Orofino's varsity that they beat.
Right. And so they are already kind of preparing for life as an 11-man program there. So that's kind of a cool deal. And Noble, I think that they want to go up a level and try and play 11-man football. I think a lot of 8-man schools try to stay at 8-man if they can, but we'll see how it goes for Logos starting next year. Wallace was in action as well. Non-conference game. They defeated Troy 58-7. Cooper Miller, 174 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. Also ran it 13 times for 146 yards and 3 TDs. Ashton Holbert had 116 yards and a touchdown rushing, fumble recovery, and a sack on defense. Lennox Radford, 4 carries, 36 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gus Scott and Henry Larson, Hank, each caught a touchdown. And Marley Pierce, 9 tackles, a fumble recovery, and half a sack. This is a Wallace team, Coach, that last year, because you saw them when they came down to play Cary in the quarterfinals of the playoffs, last year they really ran out of steam. They had a lot of injuries, and it was basically the Cooper Miller show. They were leaning on Cooper Miller to run the ball almost every play, or he was going back to pass. This year, they have made it a concerted effort to not run it with Cooper Miller as much to keep him fresher, and they've got a lot more playmakers at their disposal this season than they did last year.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn from last year's season that they had, especially the finish playing Cary going out. But you've got to have multiple weapons. You've got to be prepared for that along the way, because you get ganged up on, and pretty quick you're not getting the scores that you had, and it can damage your confidence level just a little bit during those games. So good for them in going out and making an effort to get that thing passed around to different guys. We could have 2 minor teams in the playoffs, right? Mackey and Wallace. Well, let's go.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would certainly be interesting for sure. Okay, let's wrap up our 1A discussion, guys, with the Sawtooth Conference. The entire White Pine League was off this past week. I don't know if they all planned that or not, but
county fair time up there.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds like maybe it was a concerted effort. So here are the Sawtooth Conference standings at the top of your screen here. Cary 3-0, Shoshone 2-0, Dietrich 2-1, Hanson 1-1, Richfield 1-2, Camas 0-2, and Castleford 0-3. The Wolves had to forfeit their game against Shoshone, and very last minute they picked up a non-conference game with Butte County that we'll talk more about in our 2A discussion. The big storyline here, though, is Cary continues to just excel, Coach Kirkland. They defeat Hanson. This was the big matchup. Cary and Hanson. How real were the Huskies? Well, they take their first loss of the season, 44-14. Again, it starts with Stockton Sears on offense, 12 carries, 191 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also threw a touchdown pass as well to, I believe it was Matt. Let me see. Was it Gabe Said? I can't remember who he threw the touchdown to, but he definitely threw a touchdown pass. And then he had 2 interceptions on defense as well. And then the usual defensive standouts, right? Jonah Saili and Gabe Saili each had 15 tackles and then 5 sacks. Jonah Saili had 2. Gabe Saili, Jonathan Rojas, and Austin Newton each had 1. So let me get your thoughts on this Cary team, because the way I'm looking at this conference, Coach Kirkland, they still got some tough, Shoshone coming up and stuff like that, but they've already played 2 of the quote unquote, better teams this year in Richfield and Hanson, and have handled them pretty easily. What's your assessment of this Sawtooth Conference as a whole?
Yeah, it's shaping up to kind of tell a story here. It looks like it's coming down to a Cary Shoshone battle for the conference title. If Cary can win out there and beat Shoshone, I think that's what's going to happen. Don't discount Shoshone. They got some good players there, and they love to pound and ground, but so does Hanson. And Hanson controlled this first half really well. Their game plan was awesome, according to Coach Saili. Cary had the ball for 4 minutes and got 12 points out of that in the first half, having only 3 possessions, I believe. And then things kind of opened up in the second half when you had to play catch up. But Hanson had a good plan there with Coach Lapp and banging away with those big boys in the center there, the 8 busting the A gaps. But Stockton Sears once again breaking free, scoring those quick points, those long touchdowns, and then mixing a few things up with him throwing the ball as well. But Cary looks to be in a pretty comfortable driver's seat right now and gaining a lot of confidence. We're hosting Rockland this weekend, and we'll see where that ends up with a good Paul club coming here from the Bulldogs.
Yeah. And then the other conference game that took place was Richfield and Dietrich, 48-18 win for the Tigers. But the big story coming out of this, Coach, was, something bigger than what happens on the field. A freshman from Dietrich, Bryce Hansen, suffers a pretty severe neck injury during the game. They have to take him to the hospital. He undergoes surgery to remove the discs between the C4 and C5 vertebrae. They inserted a Dr. Bone wedge to fuse the vertebrae together, and they put a titanium plate in there also. He's going to be in a neck brace for 8 weeks, and he's going to start rehab soon. And he's, he had to go to Boise, St. Luke's Hospital over in Boise. And so I know this is something that's really impacted the Dietrich community, Coach. I know they have some fundraisers going on. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I was at that game. I was on the Dietrich sideline the second half, Richfield in the first half. A very competitive first half, back and forth. Dietrich scoring right before the half to go ahead, and then the injury occurred. And as Coach Estelle would put it, it kind of took the morale out of the Dietrich squad, and things started to go south with turnovers and such. But Richfield had a great game plan. They played error-free, and their play calling was awesome. Between Oliver and Telford and what's his name? Oh, the other fast guy in the backfield.
Devin Scott.
Scott freaking really fast in the backfield, and Kent pitching it to him. They did some amazing things to get a lot of points on the board and played an error-free game. But the start of that third quarter, I think around minute 8 or so, this kid from Dietrich goes down, laying on the turf, and is not moving. And it got pretty quiet there, and the EMTs came and were able to help and assist him there. And then we find out the issues that lay with him. But there is a fundraiser going on in Dietrich for the young man. It's kind of similar to what we did a few years ago for the Butte County athlete that was hurt during the Kendrick game. And so I don't know if you're going to flash that up on the screen or not, Brandon, but there's a GoFundMe. You can find it on Instagram or a Venmo. And that's going to, Denise-Hansen with an O-88. And you'll see Bryce's photo there, I believe, with this jersey number. If you do donate, please note that it is a medical donation, is what they're asking. And so I'm going to challenge out there. Anybody listening to tonight's podcast, I'm pledging $50 to Mr. Bryce Hansen tonight, and ask that you match my donation out there and give back to this young man in support of his family and his program. I know that there it is, awesome, and some more other activities going on that are out there for him and to support him. A great young man. There's not a whole lot of guys on the sideline, but there he is participating. Another young kid. I know that Dietrich took a bus over to the hospital to visit him, I believe, on Monday. There was no practice for those guys on Monday, and heartily felt, and I'm sure Richfield is doing some amazing things over there as well with Coach Matt Kent. Close communities, not too far apart. So a bigger part of football is our health and our safety. And, if we could all reach out to Mr. Hansen, that'd be an awesome thing, and to the Dietrich Blue Devils.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. So this is a local fundraiser they're doing in Dietrich, a spaghetti feed. And then down here at the bottom, if you want to donate, if you have Venmo, I know maybe some people don't have Venmo. That's a pretty common way to pay people nowadays. At Denise-Hansen-88. That's Bryce's mom, and you can make your donations there. And also, I'm sure if you don't have Venmo, you're not comfortable, just call the Dietrich School District. And I'm sure you could just take a donation down there or coordinate that as well. But if you're statewide, this is a statewide audience and you want to help out, that's the way you can do it right there on Venmo, because he's got a long road of recovery ahead of him for sure. So certainly a worthy cause, Coach.
Yep, certainly is.
Yep. Okay. Well, and we sure hope he's okay, in his recovery efforts also there. So, okay, guys, this was not on the rundown because I hadn't done it yet, but it is October 1st, which means it's bracketology season. I did my first bracketology post of the year on IdahoSports.com, where I said, hey, if the playoffs started today, what would the playoff field look like? I know Coach loves this in early October. He thinks it's a waste of time. So, Will, I'm going to go to you on this and get your thoughts on this.
I think it's kind of a waste of time too, but I'll indulge you.
Oh, wow. I thought I was going to get some. Boy, Will is cantankerous tonight after that.
I'm a grumpy old man tonight. I'm probably a little bit more, for those of you that have seen the movies, I'm probably a little little more Walter Matthau than Jack Lemon, but yeah, I'm a little bit of a grumpy old man.
Okay. Well, here's what I got. This can be instructive in terms of the Max Preps rankings and teams trying to figure out how they can jockey for position. The way this bracket works, though, is 4 of the 5 district champions get automatic buys into the quarterfinals, and then the 5th district champion automatically is the number 5 seed and will play the lowest at-large team. And everything else, the other 7 spots, are all determined via an at-large bid. So right now, our conference champions would be Tri-Valley as the 1 seed, Cary as the 2 seed, Genesee as the 3 seed, Wallace as the 4 seed, and that is a true 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you look over here, Tri-Valley, Cary, Genesee, Wallace, in that order. So if we look at the matchups, first round, Deary would be at Rockland, Richfield at Council, Coeur de Christ at Garden Valley, and down here at the bottom, Salmon River at Hanson. In terms of the rankings, Will, this is fairly straightforward. The top 12 teams are all represented on the bracket. There's no bid stealers here, and they are all on the positive side of the Max Preps rating. Everybody else has work to do because they are on the negative side here. Mackey, Chalice, kind of the closest at the cut line there, along with Timberline. So I don't know. What are your initial thoughts of the Max Preps rankings and, how the playoffs might shake out?
Again, I have my questions about the math here. I'm not sure anyone who's watched Rockland play thinks they're the number 12 ranked 1A team in the state, but math is what math is. You know what I mean? I think that they're probably a pretty legitimate top 4, top 5 team. But to your point, I think that where the break is, what the order of those teams in, you can tinker and you can argue, okay, well, maybe, for example, maybe Lewis County or Chalice should be in, maybe Deary should be out, whatever. I think that much will sort itself over time. But as far as, the district champions, and then you get into the at-larges and you look at who those at-larges are, you're looking at a Council, a Garden Valley, a Hanson, a Salmon River. I mean, you're talking about 4 of the top 8 teams coming out of the long pin up here in District 3. It's a really, really good conference. I think they're maybe underselling North Idaho a little bit. I think North Idaho is a little bit better, but I guess if you're, ranking somebody 1 through 10, somebody has to be number 11. And then based on, whatever the magic ping pong ball says when they drew the rankings, that's who's number 11. But I think a lot of this will kind of vet itself in time. Genesee has some opportunities to move up. Lewis County has opportunities to move up. I mean, you just look down there. Mackey will have opportunities to make some statements. So time will come, but generally speaking, I think it's close-ish.
Yeah,
how's that?
Pretty good. I will tell you, this Friday night on IdahoSports.com, number 3 Genesee at number 4 Wallace. I'll be there, guys. So I will have a live scouting report of potentially 2 of the top teams from North Idaho. I will say this. The North Star League getting rid of that double round robin schedule and playing the teams from District 2, that crossover, it's lifted everybody up. Certainly, Genesee and Wallace would not have been 3 and 4 a year ago in the Max Preps rankings. So
Genesee's a good team. I mean, I watched them against Lewis County a few weeks ago, and they executed it felt like 125 onside kicks if you're a Lewis County fan, but you turn those opportunities into extra points. They took advantage. They're a well-coached, talented team. They got some definite ability on the outside and in the playmaker positions.
For sure. Coach, already getting some matches in the comments here for your challenge there for Bryce Hanson. So we love that. That's incredible.
Thanks, guys.
So,
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's awesome.
Keep it coming.
Awesome work. Okay, when we come back, we will shift gears and take a look at what happened in the 2A football landscape. And, of course, our Coach's Corner segment and our picks still to come as well. So don't go anywhere. It's the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
Once again, we have contributed to your ideal college savings program. Love, Grandma and Grandpa.
Ideal. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. I love it.
College costs money.
Welcome back to the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, Instagram account, and X account. Brandon Maney with Coach Lane Kirkland and Will Henneke. The Idaho 8-Man Prepcast is brought to you by Ideal, Idaho's college savings program. And once again, IdahoSports.com, teaming up with Ideal, where one lucky student in the state of Idaho is going to win $529 to be used in an Ideal 529 account. This can be used for higher education, trade school. It can be used for student loans. There's even some tax things you can do with it. It's a pretty awesome opportunity for students that are K through 12 at either a 2A or 1A school in Idaho. So it is exclusively for those small communities in Idaho, and we love this. The deadline to enter is October 24th. So you've now got 23 days. Don't procrastinate. You can submit online and register online. If you're under the age of 18, you'll need a parent's help to do that. You can also mail in your entry form or fill it out online. And then we will announce the winner on October 31st. Last year, Rylan Skinner from Kamei was our winner, and he just happened to be a football player. But it could be a student that's not an athlete. It could be a younger student. It could be anybody. So all you have to do is go to idsaves.org/IdahoSports.com. Here's how easy it is. I'm going to do it right now. idsaves.org/IdahoSports. And obviously I didn't do that right. Okay. I did it before and it worked.
I kind of blew up in your face.
Wow.
Yankees again. Oh.
I didn't spell something right there, but it's right here. idsaves.org/IdahoSports. There it is. So register now. Don't procrastinate. All right. On that note, okay, we'll move on to our 2A breakdown here, and we will start, guys, in the greatest segment of all time there. Award-winning broadcast tonight, for sure. Okay, let's start in the White Pine League.
Hey, man, at least it was just a cannot reach the site that popped up and not something else.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Okay, White Pine League. Another week, another dominant win for Kendrick, this time over Lapway, 90-0. 636 yards of total offense for Kendrick in this one. Maddox Kirkland, 4 of 5, 215 yards, 4 touchdowns passing, had a rushing score as well. Colt Kep apparently not playing on the offensive line anymore. His older brother, head coach Ty Kep, has freed him from his shackles, coach. He had a 71-yard receiving touchdown, also a 31-yard scoop and score fumble return touchdown. Nathan Twite had a passing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. These are all big plays. Nathan Twite, 71-yard passing touchdown. Tanner Clemens, 78-yard rushing touchdown, 73-yard receiving touchdown. Orion Stewart, 74-yard rushing touchdown, 68-yard receiving touchdown. I mean, this is just a big play machine for Kendrick.
Yeah, if you're a track coach, you're loving that stuff there. You know, timing those 75-yard runs with the ball, that'd be kind of interesting to look at there. After a while, and in some of these games, it's time to pass the ball around to a few other individuals, and sometimes linemen get the call. I always enjoyed giving the ball to a lineman on an extra point if we were ahead a little bit, and getting in on the glory and getting some more of those Twinkies we talked about earlier. It's just a good ball club that continues to score points, and I think is having fun along the way.
Yeah. Logos bounces back in a big way, 54-12 over the Prairie Pirates. This is one I got wrong in the Pick'em segment. I tried to encourage you guys to hop on the pirate ship with me, but you guys didn't take the bait. Wisely so, as Logos gets a nice 54-12 victory. Joseph Sensing had 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. Baxter Covington had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. Gideon Haney, a receiving touchdown. I get the sense, Will, that Logos is still kind of arranging the chess pieces on the board. They're plugging and playing a lot of guys in a lot of different spots and experimenting a little bit, but eventually, they'll hone in on what they want to do.
Yeah, Coach Holloway said as much when I talked to him a little bit earlier this week. He said we got some kids that are settling into roles. They had a lot of really talented seniors that had done good things for a long time, and it's not just as easy as pushing, chess pieces around and saying, okay, now you're going to do this, now you're going to do that. You got to try some things, you got to work some things, and you got to challenge some kids to step up and take roles, take a job. Don't wait for someone to hand it to you. And some kids are doing that. Sensing has been great, particularly in recent weeks. Covington has been great, and boy, we've talked a lot about their offensive and defensive lines. They're just a load up front. They're really, really good.
Yep. Moving on, Kamei pitches the shutout against Clearwater Valley. We've got some Kamei Cubs fans in the chat, and they win the Upriver Rampage over the Rams 54-0. Lawson Landmark 11-14, 220 yards, 5 touchdowns passing, also ran for 81 yards and a score. Everett Oatman, 5 carries, coach, turned it into 116 yards and a touchdown. And how about Todd Roberts, 5 catches for 134 yards and 3 TDs, also had an interception on defense. It's always nice to get a rivalry win if you're the Kamei Cubs.
Yeah, Kamei's on a roll right now. I think it's 5-0 this season, right, guys?
Yeah.
And seem to be doing really well and having fun along the way and getting everybody involved and getting some reps for the big one this Friday. Right, I think is it Kendrick?
Kendrick is Potlatch this week, are they not?
Yeah. Kendrick is at Potlatch.
Okay.
Kamei has a bye, and then they will play Kendrick in Kendrick.
Right.
So
they're gonna probably go watch that game and get scouted up. But the Cubs definitely feeling really good this season about their start and looking forward to a strong finish.
Yeah,
Clearwater's a little bit banged up, and when you're playing a hot team, you don't want to be banged up. And the Rams are a little bit beat up right now. Coach Hutchins and his kids are out there working their tails off. He says spirits are good and kids are working hard, but they just got to get a little bit healthier.
Yep. And then I guess I misspoke earlier when I said the 1A White Pine had the week off. Deary did play non-conference game with Potlatch, a 60-20 win for the Loggers. Jay Marshall, 177 passing yards and a touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. Connor Carpenter finds the end zone 3 times along with 96 rushing yards. Trey McGallen, a 72-yard receiving touchdown and 2 interceptions. And Jacob Keck recovers a punt blocked in the end zone for a touchdown as well. For Deary, they had some exciting games. Some exciting plays. Cohen Griffin had a punt block and fumble recovery of his own. Cooper Dammerman took a kickoff back 74 yards for a touchdown. But Deary, to me, they turn the ball over too much right now. Jarrett Keene throws for 166 yards, a touchdown, but 3 interceptions. If Deary can get the turnovers figured out, I think they can take that next step.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty consistently on the minus side of the turnover ledger. I'd love to see an official stat sheet on that, but I think that's a very good observation, Brandon. It's hard to win a lot of games when you're chasing possessions like that. And you look at that Potlatch team and you think they're doing this without their number 1 running back. Hunter Redmond went out for the year. I don't even know if he made it to practice before suffering the injury during the summer. And they're playing some really good football, and you cannot afford to give a team like that extra opportunities. Now, Deary's they're in position where they've got, I think every league game left, so they've got a chance to make some noise, and they've got some talent between Keene and Meckling and some of their other players. They've got the ability to make some noise. But yeah, clean up. Take care of yourself. Take care of your own responsibilities, your own job, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. So if we take a look at the White Pine standings here, it is Kamei 3-0 in the league, 5-0 overall. Kendrick is 2-0 and 5-0. Potlatch is 2-0 and 4-0. So the top 3 teams, a combined 14-0 on the season. Logos, after that loss to Kamei, they've won 2 in a row in the league. They're 2-1 and 4-1. Prairie is 1-2, but the 2 losses were to Logos and to Kamei. So, you can't really fault Prairie too much there. Troy playing an independent schedule this year. Clearwater Valley and Lapwai bringing up the rear in the White Pine League. And like we said, big matchup this Friday night on IdahoSports.com. Potlatch and Kendrick will tangle. And that'll tell us a lot about maybe where this White Pine League stands. Let's go to the High Desert Conference over in East Idaho, Districts 5 and 6. Grace becomes the second team from Idaho this year to try and take down the Antelopes from Adrian, Oregon. Adrian 2-0 against the state of Idaho. They beat Tri-Valley earlier this year, and they take care of Grace 54-24, the final. On the Grace side of things, Coach Gavin Draper, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Also ran the ball 39 times for a touchdown as well. Cade Kimball and Parker Yost each caught a touchdown. I think this was a good game for Grace. Even though it was their first loss of the season, they played the absolute best that Oregon has to offer. And you can always go back after a loss like this and find all sorts of coachable and correctable moments.
Hey, it's a perfect time for Grace to learn the lessons of the Jedi Master just one more time before they head into the playoffs. It really is. Adrian must be loaded. Goodness. Unbelievable. Will, you're going to tell us about it in a minute. I was shocked. as you were texting throughout the night what was going on. But hey, Grace will learn a ton from this thing, and it will take them farther than they would have gone had they just kept cruising through everybody through the rest of the season. And you'll see them step their game up as they head into the playoffs here in a month or so.
Yeah,
the
Will.
thing that was really impressive about Adrian, well, two things. First, I'm going to start with the joke because this one was running through my mind. Adrian wears green uniforms, green jerseys, green pants. It's an unfair advantage because their grass is green. Nobody can see them. Okay. Now on to the more serious thing. I was really, really, really impressed. They play so clean, like assignment football. The exchanges are clean. The blocking is clean. The lanes are there. They challenge you to make plays. They're not going to give you anything. And we all know Grace is a really good football team. I had people there at the game saying, this is a pretty good team from Idaho, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, they're top 2 or 3 in the state. And, Adrian, for the better part of the first half, made them look a little bit not so good, shall I say. Now, kudos to Coach Draper and Grace. They kind of got things cleaned up, and they competed. They played hard the whole way through, I thought. But that Adrian team, I mean, they are legit. I would love to see Adrian and Kendrick play. I think that would be a fun football game.
Christmas Day, Moscow.
Yeah. Let them go, and there are a lot of 2A teams that are going to get mad when I say this. Let them go win their state championships, give them a week to prepare, and then go play.
Yeah, Adrian went 12-0 last year on their way to the championship. They're undefeated again this year, so the winning streak's up to like 16 or 17 at this point. And I'm with you. I would love to see Kendrick and Adrian do the dance, as it were. One other game from the High Desert Conference, Butte County was not expecting to play on Friday, but all of a sudden Shoshone had an opening on the schedule because their game with Castleford was wiped out. Castleford had to forfeit due to not having enough players. So very quickly, Butte County and Shoshone arrange a battle in Arco, and Butte County gets the win, 36-22. No idea how Butte County did. Couldn't find any info from them, but for Shoshone, Hadley Hunt ran for 51 yards, also completed one pass. Ty Russell ran in 2 touchdowns as well from the quarterback position. Jaden Wallace ran for 94 yards and a touchdown, and these guys were sore after the game. Hadley Hunt, 18 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. Jaden Wallace, 15 tackles and a fumble recovery. I actually thought this was a good game for both teams, Coach. It was nice for Butte County to finally get a win, their first of the season. And for Shoshone, I think they can walk out of this feeling pretty confident about how they did on short notice as well.
Yeah, for sure. I imagine this was a banger of a game between those guys in the trenches as they both like to run the ball. Heavier on the run calls for that game. But both ball clubs can benefit from that. It'll help Shoshone figure out some things that they may need as they come up with Carey here in a couple of weeks, and Butte get some confidence, getting a W, maybe finding their feet here as they go forward, and maybe enough for them to find their feet to give Grace the best game they can have this season.
Yeah, if we look at the standings here, kind of a bizarro week. Grace lost, but Butte County won. So Grace is now 5-1. Butte County is 1-4. And of course, just a 2-team conference. They'll play in the regular season finale on IdahoSports.com. So all roads lead.
Oh,
good.
Finish your sentence, and then I'm going to say something profound.
Okay, I was going to say all roads lead to week 10 for these 2 teams.
Now, this is not as profound as green on green being hard to defend, but Butte County had 3 backs go over 100 yards rushing. Braxton Parsons, Tegan Babcock, Stetson Wanstrom all went over 100 yards. So, Coach, I think you hit the nail on the head for Butte County. They're able to exhale a little bit now and hopefully just go play some football. And they've got the schedule in front of them where if they get hot and win some games, they can play themselves very much into that playoff conversation in the 2A classification.
Certainly. Okay, well, it is time for us to stop down to the coach's corner, where every week Coach Kirkland kind of goes one-on-one with one of the great 8-man coaches in the state of Idaho. We've featured, a couple of coaches from the north this year, Nick Holloway from Logos, Alan Hutchins from Clearwater Valley. We had Coach Lane Durchie from Cary earlier this year. We had Brian Ayers from Valley. And for the first time in the Coach's Corner, we're going to go to East Idaho, Coach, where this has been a really fun season over in Grace. Travis Draper is a guy who's been coaching a long time, but this is his first season as the head coach for the Grace Grizzlies. He's got deep roots in the area and an inspiring family life and a passion for teaching kids both football and life. So with that said, Coach, take it away. Let us introduce and get to know Travis Draper from Grace High School.
Hey, this has been a lot of fun to be able to talk to Coach Draper. I've been friends with him for as long as he's been back in Grace, always seeing him at the state track meet every year, to also being able to coach a couple of his kids in all-star games and for the state of Idaho. So let's talk about Coach Draper tonight here. Coach Draper grew up in Pocatello, and he started playing ball in the 6th grade for the Grease Monkey Oilers. Now, I wonder what color uniform that would be, Will. That's got to be beautiful. You would definitely probably stand out there unless it was a muddy day. He went on to play at Alameda Junior High and later at Pocatello High School, and won 2 state championships while there in 1990 and 92. And I bet he still has some scars left on his legs and elbows from the AstroTurf that was in the dome at that particular time. Hey, this guy has been mentored by some amazing dudes. I got some stories to tell here tonight. Those names alone up there, the Cutter Boys at Pokey High School, Ron Hahn at Ricks College, and I'll tell some more stories about that, and then Kurt, his big brother, all were mentors to him that inspired a lifelong dream for him to be able to coach. Now, when Coach was in 7th grade, you can go back a little bit there. When Coach was in 7th grade, his 7th grade PE teacher getting his finishing his degree at ISU was Merrill Hodge. You ever heard of him? Merrill Hodge, 7th grade PE teacher. Holy shnikes. When he was at Ricks College playing, and Ricks College had some dudes back in the day. Greg Clark, a 49ers, eventual 49ers tight end, was playing there. Jay Hill was coaching at Ricks, and now as the BYU defensive coordinator was there in Rexburg. Aaron Roderick, who is now the offensive coordinator at BYU, was the offensive coordinator at Ricks. Well, this guy's been around, and he's been coached by some of the best in the business that are still doing their job today. Also coached by Gino Mariani. I guess they call him Coach Gino, who was there at Pokey for a bit before he went on. I think it was to Highland. I'm not sure on that one, but
yes, legendary coach at Highland. Yes,
legendary. Yeah, so some big names in his career to get him going. Well, how did he end up in Grace? Well, he went back after his degree and went to Alameda Junior High for a year, and Coach Gino invited him to Pokey to help out for a bit, and then he took a journey to Wyoming and to Montana and to Riverton and to Shoshone, Wyoming, and was able to get some experience there in some of those teams. And when he came back to Idaho, back to Grace, he'd never seen an 8-man game. Just 11 and 6-man is what Wyoming had to offer. And so here he is on the bus, headed back to Grace in 2020, where he was an assistant to Coach Newby for all those years, and now the head coach. Coach Draper also doubles as the athletic director and I believe the elementary principal there in the area. So he's a busy man getting things done there. What are some things that he learned while he was on his journey? Well, it's not about the plays. It's about the players. And I don't know where the rest of that slide went, but the work goes far beyond Friday nights. It's about preparation, film, and developing young men. And he says, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. That's supposed to be on that slide. But what a great mantra. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong, coaches. And you probably got to fix things. And if you're having a grind in your season, that's probably the element that you're missing is fun. What's Coach's philosophy?
Sorry, that slide was messed up, Coach. Must have lost it in conversion somewhere. I'll do some push-ups as punishment.
That's good. That's good. Maybe laps. Yeah, maybe some laps. Hey, what's his philosophy? What's Coach Draper's philosophy? Well, if you're playing Scrabble and you're going down, or you got a crossword going down here, you would fill in to love us with a capital U there, a play off of the U. To love us. We got to love our players and we got to love each other. And that's his number one job there, is to make sure that there's love amongst them all, working together, and doing a job and having fun playing the game. He's always stressing daily and fundamentals such as speed, agility, and ball security. And in his leadership program, 3 key words: invite, include, and lift others. And what a great way to love each other by including all of those things together as a team. This season, Coach Draper has been excited about his new squad. They had some great 7-on-7s against some 11-man teams this year, passing the ball, and that showed a lot of promise. He's excited about his new defensive coordinator that he played with in Pokey, Steve Millward, who he says has brought new energy and new detail, which we'll see in the next slide. But he's got this program going at the high school that's called the Hug and Go. Back on that other slide there, Brandon, the Hug and Go on the left there is a program where the athletes are in their uniforms, they're in their jerseys anyway, and they give the elementary kids a hug, a high five before school, probably on game day, and that helps them to pass that along. They've got potato harvest that they go for 2 weeks there. There's a lot of long days. They practice at 6 in the morning to 8, and then they go to work in the dirt the rest of the day. Now, that's the community thing that takes place in that area, and I think brings them all together. So Grizzlies are not only great on the field, but also in the classroom and in the community. What are some of their goals this year? And this new energy and detail, these guys, we got all these seniors listed on this program here, always got a lot of players. It's a fun field to play on there. The grass is really green, I feel like, in Grace. But they have some new energy and detail rolling. What are some other things? Their goals: be the conference champs, be state champs, and have a 3.5 GPA academic. Now, that's an award that some of our football clubs, including the Panthers, need to focus on a lot more. If you're a good student in the classroom, you're going to be an attentive athlete on the field and pay attention to the details that need to be paid to execute things. One of Coach Draper's proudest moments is coaching in the Dome in 2022 in the championship game against Oakley. He was pretty excited about that. Well, hey, Coach Draper is a Grizzly. He is Papa Grizzly. He might be Grizzly Adams. He might be Papa Bear. This guy has 9 children with his awesome wife, Michelle, whom he loves and says is such an awesome support. He has 3 grandchildren, and guess what, guys? He's got a granddaughter 1 month older than his youngest son. Talk about father of the bride kind of stuff going on here. That's awesome. And he's a soft man. And when you talk to him, he can just listen to you all day long, and you feel like he's paying attention and that you love him already. So it's about family time, he says. Recharging and staying grounded in the off season is the direction that he likes to go with his family. So keep it up, Papa Bear. Love that stuff. All right. What's his coach see in the 8-man outlook? He loves the 1A and the 2A competing together. He knows these kids well from across the state, even though he's clear over in eastern Idaho, almost off the border there. He loves to see these young guys compete together and travel around the state. That's half the fun, is traveling to these other schools and being a part of their life and experiences for these young kids. And he's shouting out to me as one of his favorite coaches that he admires. I appreciate that, Coach. I got to coach his sons in the All-Star game, and this is us up in Moscow. And, of course, the big tall guy in the back, and that would be Travis Draper, who just returned from an LDS mission 3 weeks ago, going abroad. Was fun to coach, and a dude for sure. All right, let's wrap this thing up here. Some Grizzly bites before we finish. Coach's favorite red zone call is a San Francisco slant fade for a touchdown. It's got to be for a touchdown. A memorable player that he loves is Mike Persons from the 49ers. Best place to eat is the 3C Grill in town. And there's some advice for new coaches. Have fun, love them up, coach them up, and be yourself. So thanks, Coach Draper, for joining us tonight and for sharing with us your story and your philosophies at Grace High School. And we wish you best of luck the rest of this season. And we expect you to be playing right close if not on Turkey Day for that state championship.
Yeah, Travis Draper, awesome guy for sure. One note, his favorite player that he's coached, Mike Person, that was in Glendive, Montana. Mike then went on to play at Montana State University, and then he was drafted into the NFL for the San Francisco 49ers. He's really good friends with my cousin, who went to MSU the same time he did, and he actually got invited one time to a 49ers game. You know how the players get tickets? Mike Person invited my cousin out, and then he got to, like, post-game. I guess the players all kind of have their own private parking lot, and they have pickup trucks and stuff, and they, like, tailgated, like, after the game. Like, he was just hanging out with a bunch of 49ers players in the personal players parking lot tailgating. It was pretty cool. So
nice.
Yeah.
We should get tickets.
I know, right? We'll see if Coach,
3 tickets, please.
yeah, we'll see if Coach Draper can get us the hookup there for sure. But Will, Coach Draper's a guy who's been the assistant coach for 4 years now. Now he steps in as the head coach. He does a lot of things similarly to previous coach James Newby, but he is kind of putting his own stamp and imprint on the program too.
Yeah, he's a lot more open, and not that there was anything wrong with Coach Newby. He was a very nice guy and had multiple conversations with him, but he was guarded. He didn't want a whole lot of information getting out. He didn't like the idea that somebody might be able to glean some information that might give them a competitive advantage against his team. And Coach Draper, on the other hand, stats are up. You can go find whatever you want to find about his team, and it really helps us on our side tell the story of these kids. And I know that this isn't, it isn't what some of these coaches do, because Coach Newby's not the only one and wasn't the only one. But, for some of these kids, this is as big as it gets. There is no college. There is no pro. So, the ability to celebrate these kids and their efforts and their successes and their performances is awesome. And I love it. And I loved being able to watch that team compete in person with my own eyes, something that we don't get to see a whole lot over here. Adrian is, about a 10-minute drive from me right here. And, one of the people over there was asking me, what are you doing over here? And I'm like, well, I live like 10 minutes away. And this might be the only chance I get to see Grace with my own eyes this year. And that's a lot of fun to see those kids and those people that you read about and you see about, and maybe you see some video, and okay, now you're seeing them in person. And Coach Newby was great. Came right up to me, said hi, big old smile on his face. It was a great experience.
Yep, for sure. All right, guys, let's go speed round here with the Snake River Conference of District 4 and the Western Idaho Conference of District 3. Our last two we've got to get to. Here are the standings for the Snake River Conference. Raft River 3-0 in the conference, 4-1 overall. Their only loss was to Grace. Raft River looked pretty good. 56-32 win over Glens Ferry. 532 total yards of offense. Only 9 through the air. 523 of them on the ground. Glens Ferry was paced by Henry Thomas, who had 9 catches for 128 yards and a touchdown there. So Raft River still 3-0. Glens Ferry 0-1 in their conference opener. Hagerman defeats Oakley 52-22. Wyatt Mavenkamp only completes 11 of 34 passes, but it was for 238 yards and 5 touchdowns. And Cameron Clossy, 8 catches for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is a healthy 50-yard per catch average. And oh, by the way, he had an interception on defense as well. So Hagerman is 2-0 in the conference, 3-2 overall. Oakley drops to 0-3 in conferences again. This conference is so tough and so rigorous that, Oakley just nowhere to go but up. 0-6 overall there as well. And then Valley defeats Murtaugh 44-30. So the Vikings are 2-1 in the league, 3-2 overall. Murtaugh drops to 0-2 in conference play. Brant Jones had a passing touchdown and rushing touchdown. Daniel Zamudio scored on the ground and through the air. Austin Stubbs had a rushing touchdown. McCoy Jensen had a receiving touchdown. He was a player at Butte County last year. Todd Jensen is now the athletic director at Butte County, but here's McCoy back in Murtaugh playing for the Red Devils. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'll ask both of you, Coach and Will, what were your takeaways from the Snake River Conference action that we had on Friday night? We'll start with Will.
Well, Murtaugh, good battle back. Valley did a great job to get the big lead. Murtaugh clawed their way back into it. They're going to need to pick up a win or two down the stretch here to challenge for one of those playoff berths. Raft River, it was the whole village. They played a complete game and they were balanced, and it wasn't just one guy. It was Trace Ward, it was Rhodey Evans, it was McCoy Spencer. You go up and down the list. They contributed across the board. And then, don't look now. You're going to look at the score. Hagerman, nice job getting the dub. Oakley might be waking up a little bit. Just file that away. They might be waking up a little bit.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Coach, what were your takeaways from District 4?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. It's just something I was noticing as I was looking at these scores this week. The defenses in the Snake River Conference don't seem to be as dominant as they've been in the past. We got a lot of 22s, some 30s, 32 scores on the losing side. And so that's saying that the competition is either closing or that the offenses are really good. I don't know what it says, but somebody's scoring a lot more points than they used to in the past. Maybe the conference is a little more even as we near the end of this thing. But I do agree with Will. I think Oakley's coming alive. I think their injured junior kids are probably playing again. They put up some points the last couple of weeks. And when they wake all the way up, I think that they're going to maybe get a W this year.
I would love that.
Okay.
It's been a while since they've had one, so I would love to see that for sure. And then, guys, the Western Idaho Conference over in District 3. This is Idaho City and Rimrock, both 1-0. Centennial Baptist and Wilder each 0-1. And notice had the non-conference lost Salmon River. So Idaho City and Rimrock, two big statements to open conference play. Idaho City shuts out Wilder 82-0. Jackson Rober, 3 of 3, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gabe Sharabon carried it 3 times for 142 yards and 3 touchdowns. Isaac Manor carried it 3 times for 84 yards and 3 touchdowns. Basically, everybody touched the ball and scored. Rimrock defeats Centennial Baptist 68-32. Justin Yetzer, 13 of 21 for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also had 9 carries for 178 yards. And not 1, but 2 punt return touchdowns, Coach, by 2 different players, Colton Jewett and Carlos Herrera. Herrera also had 10 tackles and an interception on defense there. So we love the special teams touchdowns there from Idaho City and Rimrock. So, Coach, Rimrock, is this the game they needed to get up off the mat, as it were? They're 2-3 now.
Hey, any win is a good win, and you gain momentum there, and you get on the special teams action. Man, I love watching special teams touchdowns. There's just so much that happens there. They they break a tackle, they make one cut, gone. Just so much fun to watch here. But the Raiders, I think having some success is going to give their team a little bit more enthusiasm, and just keep watching.
Yep. And now, Will, I will show you my projected 2A playoff bracket, since you had so much fun with the first one that we did for 1A football. I'll get your thoughts again on this. And again, the 4 conference champions automatically get byes, and then they are reseeded. So right now, Idaho City would be our conference champ. They would be the number 8 seed. Raft River would be the conference champ from the Snake River. They'd be the number 5 seed, assuming all the other, higher seeded teams won out. Kendrick would be the number 1 from the White Pine, and Grace would be the number 3 seed from East Idaho. And our at-large matchups would be Murtaugh at Kamei, Glens Ferry at Logos, Valley at Potlatch, and Hagerman at Prairie. That would be a fun one for sure there in the 4-5. Here are the Max Preps rankings. Kendrick, Kamei, 1 and 2, and fairly close, according to the Max Preps numbers. Grace and Logos, 3 and 4, and they are really close. Rat River and Potlatch, 5 and 6. They both are really close, and so are Prairie and Hagerman at 7 and 8. Valley is 9, Glens Ferry is 10, Murtaugh currently 11 on the strength of schedule, and Butte County is number 12, and there are 12 teams that go to the playoffs, but you'll notice Idaho City all the way down here at number 14 is a current bid stealer. So right now, Butte County would be the first team out of the postseason. But Will, what I notice are, at least according to the numbers, a lot of these teams are kind of evenly bunched together.
Yeah, and I think Kendrick is in their own category right now if they stay healthy and they keep doing what they're doing. But then I think you could go 2 through about 9, maybe even 10. There's not a tremendous difference between a lot of those teams. I think Kamei and Grace and Logos, I think they're great. I think Potlatch is great. But at the same time, I think you get Valley on any given day, they're going to give teams trouble. You get Hagerman on any given day. I don't want to play against Wyatt Mavenkamp when he's hot. I think that there's a lot of potential matchups that could go either way, whether a team is seeded 3rd or seeded 10th or 11th, according to Max Preps right there, because I think once you get beyond Kendrick, to me, Kendrick right now is number 1, space, and then comes number 2, whoever number 2 is. That's my mind. That's my opinion. But there are a lot of other matchups there that could really be coin tosses, frankly. And then you get down to that Murtaugh, Butte County, Clearwater Valley. I mean, you got to be loving it if you're Alan Hutchins and you're like, hey, we have not played our best football. We're not healthy, but we're in it. Okay. We've still got that carrot hanging in front of us where if we go win some games, we can play our way in still at this point. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Be really interesting to see how these teams all jostle for position here as the season goes along, for sure. All right, it is time for our pick'em segment, guys, where we pick all the games every week. We keep track of the running total here throughout the season. Will Henneke had an all-time week last week, guys. Will went 18-1. Will, do you know which game you got wrong?
I actually would. I don't. I knew I had a pretty good week. I did not know that it was 18-1 though.
Nice.
Yeah, you all-time heater. You picked Murtaugh.
Dang it.
Yep. That was the only one. Otherwise, you did fantastic. So because of that, Coach and I both went 16-3, which is no slouch either, but the standings are tight again. Will's 2 game. Actually, Will and I are both 1 game back. That's wrong. So Will and I are both a game back of Coach. And so here we are, week 7, and things are getting interesting, to say the least. Are there any Thursday games this week in Idaho 8-man? No. Are there any Saturday games this week in Idaho 8-man? Not that I can see. Let me double check that.
Butte County and Logos is Saturday.
Oh, that's right. On IdahoSports.com. So let's start with the Saturday games, and then we'll work our way back to Friday as I share my screen here. Okay, so we've got the big battle, Butte County and Logos in Homedale on IdahoSports.com. Will, you went 19-1. In golf terms, you have the honor on the next tee, sir. So
I'm really proud of myself. If you look at those standings again, I am now the proud owner of both the best week of the season and the worst week of the season. So the consistency is what we're striving for here.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm gonna take Logos for the win in the 2A. Is that the only Saturday game we got?
We got a couple of 1As too.
Okay. I'll take Logos. I will take. Any question who I'm taking?
Lewis County football T-shirt. Love that.
Oh, it's a hoodie. It's a hoodie. Coach Madrell did not screw around. He raised the bar, man. This thing's classic.
Wow.
So I'll take Lewis County and I'll take Cascade.
Okay. Lewis County is playing Clark Fork on Saturday. Horseshoe Bend is meeting up with Cascade.
Lewis County could have been playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and just based on this hoodie, I was taking Lewis County.
I like it. Coach, what do you think here?
Will's happy now. Look at that. He's got
I'm in a better mood now. Yep, I'm in a better mood.
Let's go. Let's up this already. I'm going to go with the Knights on this game here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pick with Will as well. Lewis County and Cascade.
Okay. I will go Logos. I will go Lewis County and give me Cascade. Yep. That's a clean sweep for us across the board there. Okay. Let me get the Friday game set up here as well. As again, Coach has the lead by just a game, and Will and I are both a game back. So here's what we've got for the 2A slate of games on Friday night, guys. We've got Centennial Baptist at Notice, Valley at Glens Ferry, Rich, Utah taking on Grace. Hagerman's going to battle Murtaugh, Kendrick and Potlatch on IdahoSports.com, Clearwater Valley and Prairie, Timberline at Troy, Rimrock at Wilder there as well. So, Will, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go Notice for the win. Valley is going to win the Stanley Trophy. They're going to beat Glens Ferry. Grace, Hagerman, Prairie, Kendrick. Timberline in a good one. And Rimrock. Is that it? Are there any more down there?
No, that's the bottom of it. So,
Okay.
All right, Coach, what are your 2A picks?
Yeah, I honestly.
He's shook. He's shook after Will went 19-1 last week.
Yeah, those are my picks as well, right there on the board. Yep.
You're gonna copy Will? Okay.
See, that's all he's going to try and do now is just hold me off. Just pick the same thing as I do, so I can't gain any ground.
Hey, Coach Madrell, how about a sweatshirt, please?
Best offense is a good defense, right?
Yes.
Coach?
4 corners. He's stalling.
He's hot. Give him the ball.
All right, I'll take Notice, Valley, Grace, Hagerman, Kendrick, Prairie. I will take Troy over Timberline. This is where I'm hedging. I'm trying to get a game here. I'll take Troy, and I will take Rimrock over Wilder there. So, and then the 1A slate of games, you'll see some of the same games because there are a few crossovers, but the 1A onlys, Castle Ford at Camas County, Mackey at North Gem, Rockland and Cary. That game's going to be a lot of fun. This is the game you're broadcasting on IdahoSports.com with Paul Kingsbury, right, Coach?
Yeah, it's going to be a blast.
Should be a fun one. Water Springs at Chalice, Lakeside at Deary, Hanson at Dietrich, Council and Garden Valley. Very important game all of a sudden. Tri-Valley and Salmon River, kind of a sneaky good game as well. We've got Richfield at Shoshone and Genesee and Wallace Friday night on IdahoSports.com as well. So, Will, what do you think of the 1A slate?
You know, there are a lot of toss-ups here, and if I go 18-1 again, it's completely by accident. It's not because I'm smart. That Camas County Castleford game, I'll take Castleford. I'll take North Gem over Mackey. Cary over Rockland. Chalice over Water Springs. Sean Perry, get well soon. Water Springs quarterback was injured in the last game. Deary over Lakeside, Hanson over Dietrich, Council over Garden Valley. Boy, this Salmon River Tri-Valley one, I'm going to take Tri-Valley for the win, but I'm going to say right now I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect it to be. Shoshone over Richfield, and then Genesee over Wallace. Genesee, or is it Wallace over Genesee? Is it coin toss? Heads, tails? I'll give Wallace the slight advantage because they're the home team.
Okay. Those are pretty good picks. Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, right. Let's try a little Castle Ford action. And I'm going to go with Mackey on this one. They're going to rebound. Cary, Chalice, Deary Lakeside, huh? Where's my penny? I don't know. I don't know. Let's go with Deary. And Hanson over Dietrich, Council over Garden Valley, Tri-Valley. And then I'm going to go with Richfield in this game. They're executing really well right now, and they cleaned things up. They may have had a signature win last week. And Timberline and Troy, huh?
Oh, we did that one already. Sorry. Okay. And then Genesee and Wallace.
Yeah, I'm going with Wallace as well as at home. Both have scored about the same amount of points, like 50-some million in each game average. So they'll come down to defense in this one.
Okay. Boy, I thought I was going to be out on a limb picking Wallace, but you guys have all picked Wallace. And so I too am taking Wallace. I will take Castle Ford. Will, who did you pick in this one?
North Gem.
I'll go Mackey. I'll try to hedge another bet here and keep some distance between me and you as well. So I'll take Mackey. I'll take Cary.
Or bury yourself, one of the two.
That's usually how it goes. I'll take Chalice. I will take Deary, Hanson, Council, Salmon River. I will go Shoshone, and of course Wallace there. So, and the best news of all, Monty Madrell, head coach of the Lewis County Eagles, in the chat. I got you, Coach Kirkland. There you go.
Beautiful. Thanks, Brody. Cary School, 20 yep. Panther Lane.
Yep. Okay.
83320.
Size medium.
That's right.
Large.
Well, We always do it up large here on the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast. Thanks, everybody who tuned in live tonight. If you were here live, could you please like, share, and follow? This will help everybody else find the show on replay a little easier amongst all the other stuff happening on social media. And otherwise, enjoy the games this weekend. Coach is going to be broadcasting Rockland at Cary on IdahoSports.com. I'm going to be broadcasting Genesee at Wallace on IdahoSports.com. Will, where are you headed on Friday?
I might be staying home and watching you guys broadcast. You guys have some great games on this weekend, and I think I might take the opportunity to stay home and just watch as much of it as I can.
Yeah, other games this weekend on IdahoSports.com. Kendrick and Potlatch Friday night as well. And then Saturday, that neutral site showdown with Butte County and Logos. We'll have that one for you as well from Homedale. So it's going to be a good week of football. Things are heating up. Week 7, we've hit the stretch drive of the Idaho high school football season. And so for Coach Lane Kirkland and Will Henneke, I'm Brandon Maney. We'll see you back here next Wednesday for another edition of the Idaho 8-Man Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.